Back then, with just $1, I could get 4 cartons of milk, 2 loaves of bread, and a few packs of sausages. But now, with that same amount, I can only buy 1 hot dog, just because every store has cameras everywhere. Today, I'm going to take some time to talk about the richest people in the world, the ones who don't have to shop the way I do. First up is Bill Gates, the guy who's always used as an excuse for dropping out of school or failing an exam. The truth is, Bill Gates did drop out, but he dropped out of Harvard, and in reality, Bill Gates doesn't encourage students to quit school like he did. So, for any of you who want to follow in his footsteps, you should probably get into Harvard first, then do whatever you want. Since he was young, Bill Gates was an outstanding student who was only interested in computer programming. Later, when he saw the opportunity to start his own computer software company, he decided to drop out and dedicate all his energy to his company, Microsoft. It's also worth mentioning that Bill Gates' parents were no ordinary people either. His father was the president of a famous law firm. His mother was a bank director and also the chairwoman of the United Way Executive Committee. Add his talent to the mix, and it's not hard to see why Bill Gates became a millionaire at 26 and took only another 6 or 7 years to become a billionaire. Basically, Bill Gates topped the list of the world's richest people for over a decade. And in 2021, he left his wife after 27 years of marriage. Next is Jeff Bezos, the former CEO of Amazon. Profession, online sales. Appearance, tall, white. His only flaw is being bald. He had an interest in science and technology since childhood. And of course, he was also a standout student at his school. He even received a National Merit Scholarship in the US. In the early stages of his career, Jeff worked for a fintech company, then got promoted to department head and became the director of customer service. He then quit and moved to work at a bank, probably because the customers were too much of a pain. By 1994, he decided to establish Amazon, initially named Cadabra, an online bookstore. At that time, investors were warned that there was a 70% chance Amazon would fail or go bankrupt. And not disappointing the experts, after a few years, Amazon immediately ran into trouble. Jeff was forced to close distribution centers and lay off a massive number of employees. But this is Amazon, not Beamazon. So the company survived thanks to the money poured in by investors, especially from Asian investors. Amazon actually survived because it managed to raise huge amounts of capital before the stock market crashed. If Jeff Bezos and his partners had been just a few weeks late in their fundraising, Amazon would have probably ended up as just another failed, bankrupt company. But that was just an if. Today, Amazon is a leading global technology and e-commerce company that helped Jeff Bezos become the richest person in the world in 2017. However, by 2021, Jeff Bezos quit the CEO position to become a TikToker. Just like Bill Gates, Jeff Bezos also left his wife and even had an affair with his wife's best friend because she had bigger boobs. Elon Musk, one of the world's top billionaires, full of talent and controversies. Born and raised in South Africa, but his skin is whiter than a South American's. Like many other billionaires, he also dropped out of school and also ditched his wife, twice or maybe 3 times. Each newspaper reports it differently, so it's not very clear. If Elon Musk weren't rich, people would call him an immature kid on social media. But because he's rich, they call him a humorous billionaire. He is the founder of SpaceX and the CEO and product architect of Tesla. He became the richest person in the world in 2022, with a net worth exceeding $273 billion, a number even larger than the total GDP of some poor countries over several years. To become such an outstanding person, Elon Musk also went through a period of being looked down upon and bullied, and was treated coldly by his own father. For Musk, SpaceX is like his brainchild, a place to nurture and build space launch vehicles, with a focus on developing rocket technology to extend civilization, minimize the probability of a dark age, and shorten its duration if it happens. Besides SpaceX, we have the electric car company Tesla, and just like that, the name Tesla flooded all social media platforms. And you can probably guess who benefits from all this. In addition, Elon Musk owns many other companies, including the acquisition of Twitter, which he renamed to App X, just because he felt he didn't have freedom of speech on that platform. Elon Musk is also the co-founder of OpenAI, the creator of ChatGPT, which I once paid money to use and now it's free. But he's the one who stated, "AI is the biggest existential threat to humanity. and then occasionally makes some pretty weird posts that wipe out billions of dollars in a flash. Mark Zuckerberg, the man known as the planet's most virile individual, who can keep the ladies in bed for hours, and at the same time holds the information of billions of people worldwide through Facebook. So basically, if you try messaging a friend about food right now, thousands of ads for pizza and hamburgers will instantly pop up for you. Getting back to Mark, he was raised as a Jew, so it's no surprise that he was an excellent student, winning a ton of titles and awards. He was also the captain of the fencing team. By the time he enrolled at Harvard, Mark Zuckerberg was already famous as a programming prodigy. But Mark dropped out to pursue his incubating projects, which later led to a romance with his wife when they met in a hallway near the restroom. And so they had the most liked marriage on Facebook. As of now, the couple still seems very happy. This Mark guy has a rather simple style of dress, which has created a unique aura and style for himself. His dog is even more famous than I am. You could say that when you mention Zuckerberg, you're talking about Facebook with its characteristic blue and white colors. That's simply because Mark is red-green colorblind. Overall, this is a person who became successful at a very young age and also frequently does charity work. But every so often, he gets caught up in lawsuits because of accusations of information leaks and stuff. And his family has to spend tens of millions of dollars on security each year to ensure their safety. But our information on Facebook is not safe. Larry Page. I'll just call him Mr. Page. The co-founder of the greatest creation for history-illiterate people, Google. It's no surprise to learn that both of Mr. Page's parents were in the computer science field. He said he drew a lot of inspiration from Nikola Tesla from a young age. But back then there was no TikTok, so instead of sitting around commenting praises for Tesla, he focused on studying. Thanks to that, he later became one of the most influential figures in the world. Larry Ellison, CEO of Oracle Corporation. For those who don't know, Oracle is one of the largest providers of software, systems, and database technology in the tech market today, an extremely important piece for any organization. He is described as having a rebellious personality, but being extremely independent in his thinking. A typical example is that although he grew up in a Reformed Jewish family, he still doubted the religion. He felt that the dogmas of Judaism were not things he could accept. He didn't believe they were true. Ellison bluntly expressed that he couldn't be convinced by the religion's traditional stories, and the only thing that could convince him was what he believed to be right. Also in the past, he had a war of words with Bill Gates. They probably argued about how many weeks Microsoft should force users to update. Bernard Arnault, the man considered to be the richest at the moment, and has held this position for 2 years. He is the CEO and chairman of the world's largest luxury group, LVMH. This is the company that currently owns about 75 luxury fashion and cosmetics brands such as Dior, Louis Vuitton, and Bulgari. He is French, from a country that is extremely famous for its world-leading fashion and cosmetics. He might be one of the few people who can dethrone Elon Musk from the world's richest spot. And to do this, he had to continuously carry out world-shaking mergers and acquisitions. His ambition was to make his company rival the world's largest luxury conglomerates at the time, Richemont and Kering. And he also left his wife. Warren Buffett, the tycoon, the legendary American investor. Known by the name the Oracle of Omaha, he is famous for his steadfast adherence to the value investing philosophy, which is, it doesn't matter if the goods are high quality or not. What matters is that they sell and make a profit. If you buy things you don't need, soon you will have to sell things you need. For instance, if you buy this, you'll eventually have to sell this. Be fearful when others are greedy, and be greedy when others are fearful. Sounds just like a gambler's philosophy. A rather interesting fact about Warren is that he bought his first stock when he was only 11 years old, an age when I was still playing marbles, and $2 for breakfast was a huge fortune. When he was younger, he was once unemployed because the position he applied for only selected Jewish people. In the late 1980s, this legendary investor began accumulating Coca-Cola stock, and his investment career began to flourish as the new century began, officially surpassing Bill Gates' empire in 2008, which was also the year America fell into a severe financial crisis. Remember that saying, Be greedy when others are fearful? Tim Cook, CEO of Apple. The man who delivered the message that every year will bring a new iPhone version that is 99% a copy of the old one. The successor to Steve Jobs. He quickly showed his management talent, helping Apple's annual revenue nearly quadruple by 2023. Leading Apple to the top of the world made Tim Cook one of the most powerful CEOs on the planet. It's said online that people who worked with Tim Cook knew almost nothing about him. They didn't know who he was or what his personality was like, but somehow he was invited by Steve Jobs to be the CEO of Apple. Mukesh Ambani, a tycoon from India, chairman and managing director of Reliance Industries. I didn't know this name either, but I'm told this is India's largest private company. At the beginning of his career, he only operated in the petrochemical sector, but later expanded into information technology, energy, and capital markets, which means lending. However, the person in control of the company at the time was his father. After his father passed away, the two brothers started fighting, because no will could be found. And this battle was not just limited to the family. It also affected the Indian government and the country's economy. The result was that Mukesh Ambani won. But you can't say he was just lucky or a mere successor. In fact, he was responsible for bringing the corporation to the global stage through restructuring and expansion. It might sound quite generic, but it's true. Because I don't know the specific details of his restructuring and expansion plans either. And those are the dollar billionaires I know of to make this video. Of course, there are many other names out there that I haven't mentioned. If you want a video about another billionaire or have more information about the ones mentioned, please leave your opinions in the comment section below.